Stop. Before you scroll past this video, before the algorithm pulls you somewhere else, I need you to hear something. You did not find this video. This video found you. And if you feel even the slightest tremor in your chest right now, a quiet knowing, a strange electricity that you cannot name, then what I'm about to share with you is not information. It is a confirmation. Something is coming in your life, something significant, something that will not ask for your permission or your readiness, something that will arrive with the silent authority of destiny and rearrange everything you thought was permanent. Carl Jung called it synchronicity, not coincidence, not luck, not random chance colliding with your daily routine. Synchronicity is a meaningful coincidence, an event in the outer world that mirrors something profound happening in your inner world. A moment where the universe stops pretending it is not listening and speaks to you directly, in the language of the soul. And here is what most people do not know, what the textbooks do not tell you, what the motivational speakers skip past in their rush to give you 5 steps to success. Before a major synchronicity arrives, before the life-changing encounter, the unexpected opportunity, the perfect timing that defies all logic, there are signs. Quiet signs, subtle signs, signs that your unconscious is preparing you, signs that the collective unconscious, that vast ocean of shared human wisdom that Jung spent his life mapping, is moving in your direction. 7 of them. And if you're experiencing even 3 or 4 of what I'm about to share, then I need you to pay very close attention to the next few weeks of your life, because something extraordinary is on its way. Let us begin. The first sign is that your dreams become unusually vivid and symbolic. Jung believed that dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. Not the personal unconscious alone, not just your forgotten memories and buried emotions, but the deeper collective unconscious, the vast reservoir of archetypal wisdom shared by every human being who has ever lived. And when a major synchronicity is approaching, when the deeper currents of your psyche are shifting in preparation for a significant outer event, your dreams change. They become more vivid, more charged, more symbolically dense. You wake up and the dream clings to you like morning fog. You cannot shake it. Its images, its atmosphere, its emotional residue follows you through your entire day. You dream of water, of vast oceans or flooding rivers. Water in Jungian symbolism represents the unconscious itself. When it appears with unusual power in your dreams, it means the depths are rising. Something from below the surface of your awareness is preparing to break through. You dream of roads, of crossroads, of doorways, of bridges spanning impossible distances. These are the psyche's symbols for transition, for threshold moments, for the liminal space between who you were and who you are becoming. You dream of strangers with familiar eyes, figures who speak in riddles, but whose words carry enormous emotional weight. These are often your archetypes: the wise old man, the anima, the self, appearing in disguise to prepare you for what is coming. Do not dismiss these dreams. Do not scroll past them in the morning rush of notifications and coffee and obligations. Write them down, even fragments, even a single image, even the emotional texture of the dream without any narrative, because your unconscious is sending you a telegraph, and you were taught to ignore it. The approach of a major synchronicity always announces itself first in the dream world before it manifests in the waking one. The second sign is that you feel an inexplicable sense of anticipation without knowing why. You wake up one morning and something feels different, Not bad, not anxious exactly, something more like the atmosphere before a significant storm. The air pressure changes, the birds go quiet, the light shifts, and every living thing within range becomes quietly, alertly, expectantly alive. That is what you feel, except inside you. A hum, a readiness, a sense that something is approaching without being able to name what it is or where it will come from. The rational mind tries to explain it away. You look for external reasons. Perhaps you are tired. Perhaps the coffee was stronger this morning. Perhaps it is just anxiety wearing a pleasant mask. But the feeling persists. It is not urgency. It is not panic. It is something quieter and deeper than both of those. Jung understood that the psyche has access to information that the conscious mind does not. The unconscious perceives patterns across time in ways that the logical ego simply cannot process. It reads the deeper rhythms of your life, the archetypal patterns playing out beneath the surface of daily events, and it knows before you know. This anticipation is the unconscious whispering, "Get ready," not with fear, with readiness, with the quiet electricity of a soul that is about to step into a new chapter. If you have been feeling this recently, this unnamed sense that something is on the horizon, do not suppress it. Do not medicate it. Do not distract yourself from it with noise and busyness and the endless scroll. Sit with it. Breathe into it. Let it be there. It is not anxiety. It is the soul's version of leaning forward. The third sign is that meaningful numbers, symbols, and patterns begin repeating in your daily life. You glance at your phone and it reads 1111. You look away and return and it reads 1111 again. You see the same sequence of numbers on a license plate, on a receipt, on a page number, on a timestamp, on the total of a grocery bill. A specific animal keeps appearing. A bird that lands unusually close. A butterfly that follows you for an impossible distance. A symbol you were just thinking about manifests on a billboard. A stranger's shirt. The cover of a book someone is reading across from you on the train. The rational mind immediately reaches for the debunking mechanism. Confirmation bias. You're just noticing what was always there. Pattern recognition is a feature of human cognition, and yes, that is partially true. But Jung's concept of synchronicity asks us to go one level deeper. Not to ask whether these patterns are objectively significant, but to ask, why are they feeling significant? Why is the psyche lighting up in recognition? Why does the appearance of 1111 produce that specific quality of resonance rather than being filed away as meaningless data? Because the unconscious uses the language of symbol. It communicates through pattern and repetition and image, rather than through logic and argument. When the outer world begins to speak in symbols, when the environment starts to feel like it is arranged specifically for you, specifically now, specifically in response to your inner life, that is not delusion. That is synchronicity preparing the field. Something significant is coming. And the universe is underlining everything for emphasis. Right now, in this moment, if something in this video is feeling like more than information, if it is feeling like recognition, type 777 in the comments below. The frequency of divine alignment, of a soul standing at the threshold of a major life shift, of a person who is no longer sleepwalking through their existence. Type it now, as a declaration, as a signal, as a conscious acknowledgement to the field that you are awake and you are ready. And pay attention to what happens in your life within the 72 hours following the moment you type it. The field responds to conscious declaration. The fourth sign is that old doors close suddenly, unexpectedly, and without apology. A relationship ends that you thought was permanent, a job disappears, a friendship quietly evaporates, a living situation dissolves, a belief system that held you together for years suddenly stops making any sense at all. And the closure is not gentle. It is not gradual. It does not give you time to prepare or adjust or find an alternate route before it shuts. It simply ends, and you're left standing in the open space where something familiar used to be, feeling exposed and unmoored and not entirely sure what just happened to your life. This is not failure. This is not punishment. This is not the universe deciding it does not like you. This is clearing. Before every major synchronicity, before every genuinely life-changing encounter or opportunity or revelation, there must be space. The psyche, like any ecosystem, cannot accommodate new life without first composting the old. What has ended needed to end, not because it was bad, though sometimes it was, but because it had completed its purpose in a story of your becoming. It had taken you as far as it could take you, and now something new needs room to arrive. Jung spoke of the enantiodromia, the tendency of things to transform into their opposites at their extreme. Endings become beginnings. Loss becomes clearing. The closing door is always the prerequisite for the opening one. Do not try to force the closed doors back open. Do not spend your energy mourning the space that has been made. Turn around. Something is approaching from the direction you have not yet looked. The fifth sign is that you feel an overwhelming need to return to something you abandoned long ago. A childhood dream, an old creative passion, a path you stepped away from because someone told you it was impractical or naive or too much. It comes back, quietly at first, a fleeting thought, a moment of inexplicable nostalgia, then louder, more insistent, more urgent. You find yourself thinking about that thing, that abandoned pursuit, that unlived version of yourself at the strangest moments. In the middle of a work meeting, just before sleep, during conversations that have nothing to do with it. Jung called this the call of the unlived life, the parts of yourself that were never given permission to breathe, the dreams that were buried not because they were wrong, but because they were inconvenient for the world you were trying to survive. During individuation, during the deepest processes of psychological transformation, the unlived life returns. It demands integration. It demands acknowledgement. And when a major synchronicity is approaching, it often uses this longing as its entry point. The synchronicity will frequently arrive through the door of what you almost were. The unexpected email about the thing you gave up. The chance encounter with someone in the field you abandoned. The book that falls off the shelf and falls open to a page that describes the path you were afraid to take. Pay attention to what is pulling at you from your past. Not with nostalgia, with recognition. That pull is a compass. And the synchronicity is coming from the direction it is pointing. The sixth sign is that the people in your life begin to shift without any deliberate effort on your part. Certain people quietly drift away. You do not have an argument. There is no dramatic falling out. They simply become less present. The calls become less frequent. The conversations become shallower. The connection, without explanation, loses its electricity. And simultaneously, new people appear, strangers who feel immediately familiar. Conversations with people you have just met that carry the depth and intimacy of conversations with people you have known for decades. Someone mentions a book, and it turns out to be the exact book your psyche needed. Someone shares an experience that mirrors your inner life so precisely that you feel momentarily exposed, as if they somehow read what you wrote in your private journal at 3 a.m. This is not coincidence. This is the field rearranging itself. Jung understood that we attract into our outer world the figures that correspond to our inner psychological state. As you change internally, as the deeper layers of your unconscious shift and integrate, the outer cast of your life changes to reflect a new inner landscape. The people leaving your life are not rejecting you. They are completing their chapter in your story. The people arriving are not random. They are being called by the frequency you are now broadcasting. And very often, the major synchronicity that is about to change your life will arrive through one of these new connections. A person you almost didn't meet, a conversation you almost didn't have, an introduction that required 17 small improbabilities to align perfectly. The human being who is about to change your life is either already in your orbit or is one conversation away from entering it. Pay attention to who is appearing. The seventh and final sign is that you develop an unshakable sense that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, even when everything feels uncertain. This is the most paradoxical sign of all, because by this point, everything may appear to be in flux. Old identities are dissolving. Familiar relationships are shifting. The comfortable structures of your life may be loosening at the joints. And yet, beneath all of that surface turbulence, there's something else. A stillness, a knowing, a quiet certainty that operates completely independent of your external circumstances. You cannot explain it logically. You cannot justify it with evidence. If someone asked you to prove it, you could not. But it is there, solid, unshakable, quiet. A sense that this moment, this exact configuration of your life, with all its uncertainty and incompleteness and open questions, is not a mistake. It is a preparation. Jung spoke of the self, that deep center of the psyche that encompasses and transcends the ego, as possessing a kind of teleological intelligence, an orientation toward wholeness, a gravitational pull toward the destiny that is uniquely yours. When you feel this quiet certainty, when a knowing rises up to the confusion and the fear and the uncertainty and simply remains, you are feeling the self. You are feeling the deeper intelligence of your own psyche, confirming you are in the right place. Stay present. What is coming requires exactly who you are becoming right now. Do not mistake this stillness for passivity. Do not mistake this knowing for complacency. It is the silence before the symphony begins. It is the breath before the wave breaks. It is the moment just before everything changes. And you, right now, in this moment, watching this video, carrying this feeling in your chest that something is shifting, something is coming, something cannot be stopped or delayed or redirected. You are standing at the threshold. If you've made it to the end of this video, every minute of it, without your attention being pulled away, without the noise of the world drowning out what your soul is trying to hear, then I want you to sit with something before you move on to the next thing. You are not here by accident. This video was not a coincidence. The algorithm did not randomly select this content for you out of billions of possibilities. Something brought you here. something that operates in the language of synchronicity, something that knows what you need before your conscious mind has formed the question. Carl Jung, the man who gave us the language to understand all of this, who spent his entire life mapping the geography of the human soul, who descended into his own darkness and emerged with light enough to illuminate the inner world of millions, said this: "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Let that settle. Not the version of you shaped by fear, not the version shaped by expectation or obligation or the accumulated weight of other people's definitions of what your life should look like, who you truly are. The synchronicity that is coming is not coming to make your existing life more comfortable. It is coming to make you more you, more whole, more awake, more fully, irreversibly, courageously yourself. Do not run from it when it arrives. Do not rationalize it away. Do not look for reasons to dismiss it as ordinary when every cell in your body is telling you it is anything but. Open your hands, open your life, open the door, and walk through it. Type 777 in the comments if you felt something watching this, if something shifted, if something confirmed what you already quietly knew. Subscribe if your soul is hungry for this kind of depth. Share this with one person who's standing at their own threshold right now, even if they do not yet have the words for what they are feeling. And remember, something extraordinary is on its way, and you are ready. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are.